Can I try?
Look. My son, my brother, and I are embarking on a final trip. A trip to a national treasure. No sign of Nicolas Cage on this trip, though. But to a place of wonder, excitement, and magic. Nearly 30 years ago, this Wonderland opened, and I remember my grandmother taking us here. And we were greeted by characters like Barbie, He-Man, Darth Vader, and several other celebrities. That is, celebrities to me. Toys R Us rolled out the red carpet to their customers. I remember feeling the awe of large shelves that catered to my wants and my needs. You know, bicycles, Transformers, Masters of the Universe, Nintendo. You name it, they had it. For me, I remember my grandmother buying a Star Wars rubber stamp set. I can still remember the smell of the ink. We spilled the ink at some point on our clothes and a recliner in the living room. With only 2 other toy stores in town, Children's Palace and KB Toy Stores in the mall, Toys R Us outlived all of its competition in Indiana. It was the only place to buy toys. This was before the internet. Before the beginning of this year, my friends would ask why I stayed on the east side of Indianapolis. It was by far one of the least impressive parts of town. And semi-jokingly, my answer was, because Toys R Us is 2 minutes away. Then at the beginning of this year, an email went out to those belonging to the Toys R Us Club, and let's face it, if you have 3 kids under the age of 8 like I do, you belong to the Toys R Us Club. That the company was filing for bankruptcy. They tried to stay positive, but things weren't looking good. It was only a few months later the second email came through. Stores were closing. First some, then all. Looking deeper into the tragedy only deepened the pit inside my stomach. Starting with the internet sales and licensing to Amazon started their downward trend, and wasn't until they were bought by 3 companies who seemed to siphon their profits and left them with the $6 billion they were bought with as debt they couldn't pay back. 1 week after filing for bankruptcy, the Toys R Us founder Charles Lazarus passed away. 33,000 jobs are ending this week, and the shelves are bare. Toys R Us hasn't been competitive in their toy prices for some time, and now I know why. I feel in my heart that I need to come to terms with this, the nostalgia that I clung to that now haunted me as I walked down these aisles for the last time. The jingle still echoes in these halls. I don't want to grow up, because if I did... It seems as if the if is no longer an option. I think of my own kids who absolutely loved coming to this store, just like I did at their age, to pick up blind bags and birthday presents and my exclusive amiibos. I was Farron's age when this store opened. I turned 40 last week, and this is the worst present ever.
Dad, can we have the slimy heart?
You want slimy hearts?
Yeah.
Yep, nice. The last thing we'll ever buy it, Toys R Us. Slime. It hit me when I came across the yellow tape blocking off the aisles. The scary question of, where will we go now? There is definitely a vacuum where this Wonderland now lies at the time of making this video. I think with everything going on in the world nowadays, the insanity of politics and problems all around, the need for escapism is needed now more than ever, and is in dwindling supply, as things like movies, video games, and comic books seem to want to push a political agenda, identity politics at every step. As a boy, toys, comics, and games were my brother and I's out, as we took to adventures on all kinds of planets and dimensions, played games, and took our toys to show and tell every Friday at school. Toys R Us helped Eric and I feel like the kings of our class some days. Now I share my toys through text messages to all my friends. That's the part of me that will never grow up. Let's face it, deep down inside, I'll always be a Toys R Us kid.